Hello and welcome to Moneycontrol's live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Lavisha Darad. Well, it looks like it's turning out to be another resilient day, but the breadth of the market, that still remains weak at this point of time. If you look at Sensex, that is up by about 250 points. Nifty is also above that 25,650 mark as of now. But yes, sectorally, once again, it is the day for the IT stocks because it's been doing well. And if you look at the Nifty IT index, it's up by about 1% at this point of time. Metal stocks are also doing well, up for this third consecutive day. If you look at the Nifty Metal Index, showcasing a gain of nearly 1% or so. But yes, what did not do well in this market, that is your Bank Nifty Index, underperforming the benchmark index, showcasing a gain of about 0.2%, but still underperforming the headline indices as of now. Other than that, you can see pharma stocks also sulking in the trade. PSU banks once again cooling off, and Nifty Realty Index also showcasing a sideways momentum. But yes, all in all, it looks like a resilient day. But if you look at the breadth of the markets, that still remains weak at this point of time. But let's take a quick check of the top Nifty gainers and losers. If you look at the Nifty gainers, Interglobe Aviation has been doing well. 3% gains coming in for the counter. Bharat Electronics on the back of the order win has been doing well with about 2% gains. You can see Bajaj Auto also doing well with about 2% gains coming in. Of course, it's up and running for the third consecutive day on the back of its strong second quarter results, and that is where you can see the stock showcasing a gain of about 2% itself. Eternal and HCL Tech, some of the other stocks which is doing well on the Nifty 50 gainers front. However, the top losers, you can see Bajaj Twins not reacting well to Bajaj Finance's second quarter performance. Of course, the company has lowered its OM growth guidance for FY26, and that's why investors have remained on the sidelines for the counter. And you can see Bajaj Finance showcasing a decline of about 7.5%. ONGC also not doing well. Profit has fallen in double digits on the back of lower oil prices. That is why you can see ONGC is showcasing a decline of about 1%. Tata Motors passenger vehicles not doing well ahead of the listing of its CV arm. And you can see Apollo Hospital and Power Grid, some of the other losers on the Nifty 50. But yes, to understand the last 15 minutes of the trade and how you should be positioned, I'll go across quickly to Osho Krishnan, Senior Analyst, Technical and Derivative Research at Angel One. Osho, good afternoon. How do you see the markets? Nifty is stable above that 25,600, but the breadth of the market, that still remains weak at this point of time.
Very good afternoon, Lavisha. Firstly, thank you for inviting me at the show. Well, yes, no doubt, looking at the recent momentum in the market, although we have seen a kind of resurgence from the lower end, but still on the higher end, the conviction still lacks in the market. But gradually, there has been some kind of key developments on the technical front. Firstly, the support zone of 25,500 to 450 has played a very strong and pivotal support for Nifty, from where we have seen buyers to initiate bullish calls for, especially on the expiry day. So I'm expecting that in the coming day, there might be some kind of continued momentum on the higher end. Today, it was just a kind of a inception for the bullish trend for Indian equity market. So on the higher end, I expect the zone of 25,750 to 25,800, which is a very sturdy barrier for Nifty. Once we break through the sturdy barrier, then from there onwards, we can see some kind of strong conviction returning back into the markets. Till that time, better to stay focusing on the thematic movers. For index specific moves, try to utilize dips of 25,600 to 25,500 as buying opportunity, while try to be on the lighter positions on highs of 25,800 and patiently wait for a decisive breakthrough above 25,800 in the coming period.
Okay, all right. 25,800 could be possible in the coming period. But yes, Osho, let's quickly address some of the individual movers of the day. We'll first touch base about Bajaj Finance. The stock is one of the top Nifty losers, and the management has also cut its growth guidance for its OM for the full financial year as well. It now expects OM growth to be between 22% and 23% compared to the earlier projection of 24 to 25%. But yes, yesterday, Osho, we did see that the stock hit its 52-week highs, but today it's a sharp downfall. Can we expect more slide to continue?
See, no doubt, technically the counter has seen a very strong momentum. There has been a very strong and vertical rally that the counter have witnessed from, especially from the zone of 950 and has touched the zone of 1100. But with the kind of momentum or with the kind of fall that we have seen in today's trading session, especially backed by strong volumes, so I expect that on the downside, the counter is still having some room, and the possibility of further correction should not be ruled out. So one should be very much cautious in the counter at current levels. I expect that on the lower end, 970 to 980 can be seen in the coming days. But from those levels, one should again look for buying opportunity in Bajaj Finance. Overall, the trend is very positive, and such kind of correction should be utilized to accumulate position from medium to long term perspective.
Okay, probable buy prospect once it touches 970 odd levels for Bajaj Finance then. All right, let's move on and talk about Britannia as well, because that stock also did not do well in today's trading session. 3% downtick coming in for the counter. And we did see some corporate movement where the MD and CEO Varun Berry has announced that he will be stepping down from his position before his term ended in 2029. The board of the company has also accepted the resignation with immediate effect without Berry serving his notice period, and Rakshit Hargave is the one who will be stepping in as the new CEO from December 15 onwards. But Osho, sharp reaction following this development. What can we expect next for Britannia Industries?
See, overall, this is a volatility based on news, so there should not be
Hmm.
any caution that is looking on the technical front, because technically the counter is at a very decent and stable phase, hovering above the 100 exponential moving average. So overall, the counter is still into a positive terrain, and one should look for such opportunities to start accumulating position. I am expecting that once it breaches the zone of 6200 on the higher end, which is the last trading session's high, then one can look for accumulating on aggressively basis. Till that time, better to stay sidelines, because there might be some kind of further continued consolidation or sideways momentum in this counter. So better to wait for the consolidation breakout and then can look for buying opportunity. 6200 is the immediate resistance, and any breakthrough can provide positive trigger in the counter.
Okay, all right. Just a news-based factor for Britannia then. Osho, let's also talk about IT stocks. I mean, it's up and running for the second consecutive day. Right now, also Nifty IT is showcasing a gain of about 1%, outperforming the benchmark indices. Anything that you're liking from this space, and how would you suggest investors to approach it?
See, from IT space, there are many counters which are looking very positive. From the mid
Hmm.
cap IT space, Persistent is looking very positive. It has given a strong breakout, hovering at the zone of 6020 kind of a zone as of now. But it has given a very strong momentum in today's trading session after a very strong consolidation. So I expect the momentum should be continued in the counter on the higher end. 6200, 6250 is the first target that one can expect in a very short term time frame. And if it breaches the zone of 6200, then we can see further continued momentum. But overall, the trend is positive. 5800 is the support zone where one should try to accumulate fresh positions. On the higher end, 6200 followed by 6400 is the positional target for Persistent. Apart from it, the heavyweight IT names like Infosys is also looking very positive to me. After very strong consolidation, now it has finally emerged above 1520 odd level. So I'm expecting that in the coming period, the possibility of further higher gains is possible in Infosys, and looking at the risk reward at current levels, one can definitely try to accumulate Infosys at current levels from medium to long term point of view.
Okay, all right. The Infosys also one of the top picks for you from the IT space. Usho, let's also address about the defense pack. I mean, you can see majority of the counters doing well in today's trading session. Nifty Defence index is also up by about 2% as of now. So, what are we expecting? Can we expect an extension of the rally of the same?
Majority of the defense counter is at a kind of a strong support level. So I expect that from here onwards, some of the counters might see some kind of consolidation breakout. Like Bharat Dynamics is looking positive. It has retested the zone of 200 as simple moving average, and again has decently moved in the last two trading sessions. So I expect that momentum can be seen, but not very much aggressive on defense counter as of now. If there will be momentum continued for another 1 to 2 trading session, then majority counters can see some kind of major breakout from current levels. So Bharat Dynamics, Hindustan Aeronautics, both can be considered for the time being, but one should look for a consolidation breakout to gain some positive momentum in the short term time frame.
Okay, all right. Consolidation breakout is something that we need to watch out for. But let's quickly move on and talk about Bharat Forge. The stock has been doing well at day's high level, and the stock has recovered about 6% from its lows, from its day's low level as well. Now, what is driving the recovery is that the management has said that it is witnessing exports to the North American market, which has declined further. But they believe that the industrial business across Indian exports to the non-US geographies and a ramp up in the company's defense business will more than offset the weakness that is visible in the US exports. But Osho, the stock has done well in the past 1 month, and right now the stock is at day's high level. What can we expect the next target levels to be for Bharat Forge?
See, this counter is I am having a very bullish approach, but from a medium to long term point of view, because with kind of momentum, this counter has given a very strong breakout, which even indicates a double bottom formation on the daily and weekly time frame chart. So on a medium term time frame, the target comes around the zone of 1650 to 1700. So that will be a medium term target. But with the kind of momentum this counter has shown in today's trading session, I expect 1480 to 1400 or 1500 kind of a zone can be seen now on immediate basis for Bharat Forge. So overall, the trend has been turned positive, and one should even look for strong accumulation at current levels. Even in, let's say, in future, if in next 1 to 2 trading session, if there is some kind of cool off in the counter, then one should try to accumulate on any dips towards the breakout levels of 1340 to 1320 for a target levels of nearly 1650 from medium term time.
Okay, all right. That's the view coming in for Bharat Forge. But speaking of stocks which is doing well, let's also address Syrma SGS. The company has reported good set of numbers when it comes to the September quarter. If you look at the net profit, that has risen by about 77% on a year-on-year basis. Revenue has also grown by about 38%. EBITDA has surged by about 62% on a year-on-year basis. And the revenue growth was driven primarily by the IT and the railway segment. Osho, the stock did well today, 52-week high, but right now the stock is at day's low. What would you expect the next moves to be?
The trend is very positive in this counter. There has been cycle of higher highs, higher lows on the weekly time frame chart, but the major hurdle is placed around the zone of 860. So if there is any breakout above 860, then from there onwards one can see a drastic upsurge of nearly 60 odd points. So 920 to 930 will be the target that one can expect from short to medium term point of view. The trend is positive. Any dip towards the zone of 800 can be seen as an accumulation zone. 860 is the first target. Any breakout can provide a room for another 60 point of rally. So 920 is the target that I am expecting on the technical aspects.
Okay, okay, all right. Let's move on and address about HEG. The stock has been doing well. If you look at the stock, 2% gains coming in for the counter. We did see a good set of numbers for HEG. The company's net profit has risen by about 72% on a year-on-year basis. Revenue has grown by about 23% on a year-on-year basis. Osho, what can we expect the momentum to continue? The stock has done well today.
See, overall, again, the counter have gained some kind of volatility in today's trading session. The counter have been into a strong consolidation around 515, and in the last 2 or 3 trading weeks, there has been a strong volatility both on the both sides. So I'm expecting now again, as the counter have retested the support zone. So from here onwards, the possibility of a reversal is very high. So definitely one should look for a buying position in the counter, keeping a strict stop loss of nearly 505, and the short-term target for the counter is nearly 580. If it breaches 580 on a closing manner, then from there onwards, one can even look for a higher target of nearly 615 to 620 kind of zone. But for now, the risk reward is very much favorable, and one can look for adding positions in HEG.
Okay, all right. That's the view coming for HEG. Now let's quickly move on and talk about another stock in focus. That is your Vodafone Idea, because the telecom operator reported a sequential improvement in its earnings. The losses have narrowed in the September quarter because it's been led by a one-time interest expense reversal. And brokerage firm Citi has maintained a buy call on the counter, and they've given out a target price of about 14 rupees per share, characterizing the stock as a high-risk stock. But yes, Osho, how would you see the counter? Good set of results, but still we have some AGR and of course debt burden as some of the overhangs which is weighing on the counter.
See, again, this counter being considered a penny counter, but again, on a volume perspective, this counter is having a very strong volumes. So technically also, I'm expecting that with the kind of momentum this counter is into, it is currently at a very strong hurdle or very strong resistance. So any breakthrough above the zone of 10.50, 10.60 can provide further continued momentum in the counter. Else, these levels have once been a kind of a resistance, and from here onwards, the counter have seen some kind of corrective measures towards the zone of 7 rupees. So I expect that one should be cautious in the counter at current levels. No doubt the momentum is with the bullish flow, so one should even look for buying position. But 9 rupees 80 paise is the stop loss that will be recommendable for short-term traders. And immediately I'm expecting 11 rupees 80 or 12 rupees kind of a target from short-term point of view.
Okay, all right. That's the view coming in for Vodafone Idea. But yes, let's take a quick check of the top. The last rates coming on your screen. If you look at Sensex, it's still up by about 280 points. Nifty is also up by about 100 points as of now. 25,683, that is where we're at as of now. But yes, if you look at the majority of the stocks have been trading in the green, but if you look at the breadth of the markets, still it remains quite subdued as at this point of time. But yes, sectorally it has been the day for the tech stocks. Nifty IT index up for the second consecutive day, like we were discussing with Osho as well. 1% gains coming in for the IT pack as well. But yes, coming to the other movers and shakers, metals doing well. Metals are also doing well in today's trading session. Pharma showcasing mild moves with about 0.1% gains. On the other hand, if you look at the Bank Nifty index, 0.3% gains coming in for the Bank Nifty. However, it still underperformed the headline indices. But yes, Nifty closing above that 25,700. We have surpassed the 25,650 barrier as well. And now we're above that 25,700 mark as well. So 0.5% gains coming in for the Nifty, 100 points gain coming in for the headline index. On the other hand, Sensex closing with about 364 points gain. So yes, all in all, if you look at the headline index, it looks like a good move coming in for the Nifty 50 as well. On the other hand, let's take a quick look of the top gainers and losers. Interglobe Aviation, Bharat Electronics, HCL Tech, some of the gainers on the Nifty front. Losers, you can see Bajaj Twins did not do well, ONGC also, and Tata Motors also seeing a cut of about 0.7%. But yes, let's quickly address another stock in focus, that is your Subros. The stock was down after it reported its weak operational performance. It did see modest growth in top line and bottom line, but EBITDA declined by about 10% and margins also narrowed by about 150 basis points. Osho, what's your view? The stock has seen a biggest single day fall since March 2020. So can we expect the trend to continue?
Yes, in the last two correction zone from the zone of 1130, the counter was having a correction, and with today's development, definitely there has been a double top formation on the daily time frame chart. So for this, on the lower end, the target comes around the zone of 800 to 780. So I expect the momentum on the lower end should be continued. 780 to 800 will be the target for lower end on this counter, and again that those levels are even coincides with the historical support level. So 780 will be the zone where one should not be very much bearish and should look for buying opportunity. But for current levels, again 100 points of downside is still being seen on the technical front.
Okay, all right. Osho, just one last question before we let you go. Of course, let us know what your top picks at this hour.
There are two counters which are looking very positive to me. Firstly, the counter of Adani Port is looking very positive. The counter has given a consolidation breakout, and it is expected that from here onwards, it can see some kind of a strong momentum in the coming days. So Adani Port can be seen as accumulation purpose at current levels. 1440 will be the advised stop loss, and on the higher end, 1520 is the potential target for short-term duration. The other counter is from pharma space. Oro Pharma has given a very strong breakout and has emerged above the 200-day simple moving average. So I'm expecting the momentum should be continued in Oro Pharma. So one should try to accumulate at current levels, keeping a stop loss of 1140 for the potential upside target of 1200.
Okay, all right. Adani Ports and Oro Pharma, those are the two picks for you. But with that, we have to let you go, Osho. Thank you so much for your time and joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me on the show.
All right, of course, we can see that, it's been the second day running for the Nifty because it has closed in the green. above that, nearly that 25,700 mark as well. Nifty at about 25,694. That is where it has closed as of now. But yes, Sensex also exhibited good gains, nearly 300 points gain coming in for the Sensex as well. And Bank Nifty index, however, it has failed to keep up with the benchmark index fast pace today, and it has gained with about 0.3% gain. On the other hand, if you look at the broader end of the markets, mid caps have outperformed. 0.5% gains coming in from the mid cap index. However, small caps have sulked in the red and seen a decline of about 0.2% as of now. So yes, from the broader end of the markets, mid caps seem to be the clear outliers, and mid caps have also outperformed the benchmark indices as well. Coming to some of the sectoral moves, Nifty Auto Index showcasing some good gains. 1% gain coming in for the Nifty Auto Pack. Nifty FMCG also did well with about 0.3% gain. On the other hand, if you look at the Nifty IT Pack, that is also done well with about 1% gain. It's the second day running for the IT stocks, and of course, really the good news that is coming in from the US on ending the federal government shutdown has what is cheered the technology stocks in the space as of now. But yes, metal stocks continue to do well for the third consecutive day. You can see a gain of about nearly 1% or so coming in from the metal basket as well. On the other hand, if you look at the pharma pack, that has once again slipped into the negative territory, flat with a negative bias as of now for the pharma index. And PSU banks also seem to be having cooled off with about 0.4% loss for the PSU banking pack as well. On the other hand, if you look at the Nifty Realty Index, last month was quite good for the Realty pack, but this month has been quite sideways for the Nifty Realty Index. And today also it has slipped into the negative territory, flat with a negative bias with about 0.1% decline coming in for the Nifty Realty pack as well. But other than that, if you look at the breadth of the markets, that continues to remain weak. Advances have clearly declines have clearly taken an upper hand, while advances have taken a backseat as of now. But yes, to understand how the market texture looks like for the long term and how you should build your portfolios, I'll go across to Kranti Batini, equity strategist at Wealth Mills Securities. Kranti, good afternoon. I'll start by asking what I was asking you before as well. If you look at the markets, they have been resilient even after the explosion we have seen in the capital city. So do you expect this news to be another news-based event that the markets would ignore from here on?
Hi, Loisha. Good afternoon to you. Yes, definitely. What happened in Delhi is definitely concerning. But given the kind of the market relationship at this point of time is concerned, markets acted very maturely at this point of time, and the event is not going to have any kind of material impact on the profits of any companies. So we need to wait and watch how this escalations are. These kind of events can turn out to be any kind of a geopolitical events, then it's going to be a concern area. But till now, it's not going to have any material impact with respect to the markets are concerned in a medium to short term. It's by and large a sentimental event. But what happened in Delhi, definitely it's an unfortunate event.
Okay. Kranti, coming back, we'll talk about how the global brokerages have been turning bullish on India. What is making sense of this development? Earlier, we did see yesterday Goldman Sachs also upgrading India to overweight, and before that, we did see HSBC also turning bullish on India. So, do you expect a change of stance which is coming in from the global brokerages to drive some FII flows into India?
Slowly the mood is changing with respect to the upgradation of India ratings are concerned. And also the FIs are keenly observing how the things are that is going in India. And ahead of us, what the market and the foreign portfolio investors are waiting at this point of time is the outcome of the trade deal. So if the trade deal is a positive signal, definitely the foreign portfolio investors are expected to come back to India. But what the main trigger at this point of time is the earnings. We had a decent earning quarter. There were absolutely no negative surprises with respect to the earnings season is concerned. And the companies have been quite optimistic with respect to the coming few quarters earnings are concerned. That's where investors are much more interested in Indian markets. That led these foreign broking houses and research houses upgrading India and giving a overweightage with respect to Indian markets are concerned. We are in a medium-term consolidation at this point of time. Market is in a mood not to run away at this point of time. They are in a wait and watch mode to get some kind of a confidence with respect to the trade deal and all trade deal is concerned in the medium to short term.
Okay, okay. Kranti, but how would you see valuations at the current juncture? Because given the kind of earnings season is panning out for India.
With respect to the valuations are concerned on a relative basis, with respect to the long-term prospects of India is concerned and the growth prospects of India is concerned, we are at a much more reasonably valued on a longer term basis. But there is a narrative, there is a sense of narrative, keep on changes in the global market. Sometimes the narrative is buy China, sell India, and sometimes the narrative is buy Korea and neutral on India. Just 45 days to 60 days back, India was the least favored market in the entire emerging market space. Now the stance has been changing right now, and FIs have been selectively buying on India. So to get that fair point of to make India is a relatively more favored nation, the earnings has to kickstart. That gives the comfort to the foreign portfolio investors on a medium to long term basis, and also the how the geopolitical environment that's shaping. That's also keenly observed to become most favored nation and in terms of the investing is concerned. Right now, India, we with respect to the size of GDP and the market capitalization is concerned, we are also one of the largest market in terms of the market capitalization is concerned. So we will be moving upwards with respect to the allocations are concerned. That's going to be the favorable time for India on a medium to long term basis. Short term, these kind of allocations and also some kind of a knee-jerk reactions do come in the market in the medium to short term. But long term, what we believe and what we sense at this point of time is definitely the allocations towards India is going to go up on a longer term basis.
Okay, okay. But Kranti, I mean, the street consensus is for a double-digit earnings growth for at least the second half of the fiscal year. Can you point us out some of the sectors where you find that kind of growth visibility and evaluation comfort as well?
One thing is, yeah, there is a lot of exuberance with respect to the domestic consumption is concerned, and also the infrastructure as a theme, and the capital goods. These are the areas one need to look forward for the earnings upgradation. But the banking and financial services, slowly the FIS interest also turning towards the banking and financial services. If we can get one rate cut, okay, in the coming monetary policy, that can also give some more confidence with respect to the banking and financial services also on a medium to long term basis. But by and large, what we are sensing at this point of time, it is stock specific action that's taking place in the medium to short term.
Okay, okay, all right. But Kranti, anything that you're conservative about? I mean, you did point out that banking is one space that you're bullish on. But what would you suggest to investors to remain on the sidelines for the time being?
Well, the timing to be on sidelines is the IT is going to be a sector to be on sidelines because still we need to get the confidence with respect to the US economy is concerned, US budgets are concerned. The Fed rate lingering effect also has been some creating some kind of extra pressure on IT as a sector. But this is for the medium to short term stance. For a longer term perspective, if the investor want to accumulate IT stocks, they looks attractive. One can add at dips. There is no need to jump and buy at this point of time with respect to IT stocks are concerned. For a longer term perspective, in a staggered manner, one can add IT or for a medium to short term, one can stay in sidelines for IT as a sector.
Okay, all right. IT is something that people should be cautious on as of now. But with that, Kranti, we're totally timed out, but we have to let you go and thank you for joining and connecting with us.
Thank you, Loisha. Thank you.
Thank you. right, that's Kranti for us. And now let's quickly go across to my colleague joining from Mumbai studios and discuss about how the individual movers look like. Yatin, good afternoon. I mean, it's resilient markets for the second day, but the breadth of the markets still remains weak as of now.
So I think the reason why we are looking at a weaker market breadth is the open is slightly weaker. I think a lot of MTF related buying selling is happening in the mid cap end of the market. MTF is basically margin funding related buying selling, which is probably keeping the mid cap end of the market volatile, and probably the reason why the small cap index ended in the red. However, the mid cap index on the National Stock Exchange rose by nearly 0.5%. No complaints about the markets today. Nifty close to that 25,700 mark, 120 points higher. Sensex up 335 points, and the advance decline ratio slightly better than yesterday. It was almost 3:2. Not exactly 3:2, but nearly 3:2. So yes, the market breadth improved, especially in the second half of the trading session.
All right, let's quickly now discuss about some of the individual movers of the day. We'll first talk about Britannia Industries. The stock did not do well, and we did see some top-level management churn happening, where MD and CEO Varun Berry had announced that he would be stepping down from his position well before his tenure ended 4 years later. Now, the board has also accepted his resignation with immediate effect without Berry serving his notice period. We've already seen earlier that Rakshit Hargave will be the new CEO from December 15 onwards, and Hargave had quit Grasim's Birla Opus over the weekend as well. So he will be taking charge as the managing director from December 15, and meanwhile N. Venkatraman, currently the CFO at the Britannia, will be the interim CEO till Hargave takes charge next month as well. Now, brokerages have been remained quite cautious. Street has also remained quite cautious on the counter. If you look at Motilal Oswal, while they upgraded Britannia to buy from a neutral, but they still believe that there could be some near-term pressure on the stock due to Varun Berry's long and successful stint and a quick exit. Yet in a quick churn of management, but Berry's leadership did see the company's revenue growing over 2x. And even the second quarter performance was quite stable. So all eyes will be on the progress of this new leadership and how the growth progresses from here on.
Clearly, the CEO announcement came a few days back, but the market probably assumed that Varun Berry will stay because he was also the vice chairman of the board. So probably he could have taken a back seat with day-to-day operations, probably would have guided the company and the board, with respect to the strategy of Britannia. But I think this comes at a time when FMG companies are transitioning, to the new GST regime. A lot of changes are happening in the industry. Varun Berry obviously was the CEO of the company many years back. From there, he rose to the rank of vice chairperson. But this probably comes as a negative surprise, and probably the reason why the stock was down 6% in intraday basis.
Okay. All right, shifting focus from Britannia, let's also address about one stock that did well today. That was your Vodafone Idea following its second quarter results. Now, the telecom operator did report a sequential improvement in its earnings, where the losses have narrowed in the September quarter, which was led by a one-time interest expense reversal as well. Now, revenue has rose by about 2% on a sequential basis, ahead of the flattish growth expectation. EBITDA margin has improved marginally to about 42%, and the company's second quarter loss is narrowed to about 5,500 crore rupees from 6,600 crore rupees in the June quarter, better than the street estimates as well. How the brokerages have reacted? Citi has given out a buy call on the counter, a target price of about 14 rupees, and characterized it as a high-risk stock. Now, what the brokerages said that the Supreme Court's clarification, which is related to the AGR dues, could pave way for the companies to complete its long pending fundraise as well. And some clarity around government's relief package will also be some key monitorable going ahead as well. UBS has meanwhile given out a neutral call and on the stock and a target price of about 10 rupees per share as well. Yeah, then of course a good post-result reaction, but the declining subscriber base, debt burden still remains an overhang for Vodafone.
Absolutely, and now, Lavisha, the focus again from earnings shifts to the AGR issue. Most of the debt or the liabilities that Vodafone Idea has is relating to spectrum payment as well as the AGR dues. And if there is a substantial amount of relief, which obviously the Supreme Court has made the path clear, it's between the telecom department or the ministry and the company. Obviously, in the conference call, the company said that DOT is in talks with the company for the AGR relief package. Whether or not it's a full relief or partial relief, it needs to be watched, but the stock clearly showing excitement post the earnings, which are obviously much better than expectations. ARPUs improved slight bit to 167 if I am not mistaken. So things are moving well for Vodafone Idea, and if this AGR relief comes in, probably that is what the market is already factoring in, from the shares moving almost 6.5 rupees from levels of those 6.5, 7 rupees to almost 10.5 rupees today.
That's right. That's right. All right. Another stock which also reacted well to its second quarter results, that was your Syrma SGS. The stock also hit a fresh 52-week high after the company registered a good set of second quarter performance. Now, the company did post a good performance across all the metrics, because if you look at the bottom line, that rose by about 77% on a year-on-year basis. Revenue also grew by about 38%. EBITDA surged by about 62% on a year-on-year basis, and margins have improved sharply by about 150 basis points. Now, the revenue growth that was driven primarily by its IT and railway segment, and the company has also announced plans to acquire a 60% stake in defense and maritime electronics firm, that is your Elecom Integrated Systems, and this acquisition is valued at about 200 crore rupees as well. Now, the remaining 40% of the stake will be acquired in multiple tranches over the next 3 years, and that's what the company aims to do as of now. But yes, Yatin, good performance from the small cap company. And if you look at last 2 quarters of decline from small cap space, we are still seeing some resilience from the small cap space, if not affirmative growth from the second quarter.
Yes, and the most important part about Syrma this quarter was the margin expansion, from 8.5% to almost 10% plus, almost 150 basis points improvement. That was probably not factored in. In fact, the kind of margin surprise the company has given probably would mean more legs to the rally at this point in time, and probably if you look at Syrma SGS, that stock zoomed nearly 10% on an intraday basis. But what was not doing well in trade today was Bajaj Finance. This was one of the large cap earnings wherein we saw another quarter wherein the management cut the growth guidance. In fact, now they are expecting the growth of their AUM to be close to 21 to 23%. Earlier, at the start of the financial year, it was almost 24 to 25, which was revised downwards. But this is the second time, they have cut the guidance. In fact, they are expecting that the SME or the MSME portfolio and the mortgage business would see some kind of slowdown. Currently, the mortgage business contributes nearly 31% of overall, business, and almost 14% of the business comes in from the MSME space. So these are the two moving parts with respect to Bajaj Finance's overall scheme of things, and hence the kind of decline in growth is something that the market did not like. However, the company has said that from here on credit costs will improve. They're expecting some relief there, and if you talk about the asset quality, that also slipped in the quarter, probably something that the market did not anticipate, and hence a sharp 6-7% reaction intraday for the stock of Bajaj Finance.
That's right. MSME stress and higher credit costs, that is what weighed on this NBFC joint as well. And we could see Bajaj Finserv also not reacting well on the back of this dull second quarter performance. But yes, Yatin, with that, this is all the stocks we have for today. Another positive day for the markets, and we are in the last lap of the earnings season. But yes, apart from the markets, we'll also be getting the exit poll reaction from Bihar elections as well. So do watch out for that, whether the ruling party retains power or there is a tough competition from opposition as well. 6 p.m. is when the exit poll results will roll out, and 14 November is when we'll know the exact results as well. But yes, with that, we've come to an end of this edition of Closing Well. But before I let you go, let me introduce you once again to Moneycontrol's Super Pro, which can be your ultimate investment superpower. You can get all the live trading calls and investment ideas from SEBI-registered experts, pre-identified chart patterns, and AI-powered stock alerts on your WhatsApp to help you trade and invest with confidence. So you can download the Moneycontrol app and subscribe to Super Pro today itself.